All right, y'all, let's talk AMFest. Welcome. For the next 10 minutes or so, I will be your tour guide through the spectacle known as AMFest. Please keep your expectations low, but your sense of humor high, because it's clearly not that deep. Don't worry, we'll keep it short. I know you got things to do, people to see, places to be, so we're gonna focus on the highlights, or at least, I guess what I found funniest, because at this point, we just gotta laugh. Let's start at the beginning. So AMFest opens with prayer, and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's great, you know, God first, yeah. So anyways, it's given by Pastor, what's his name? John, you know what? I don't know how to say his last name.
That you would place a hedge of protection upon her children. That you would place a hedge of protection upon Turning Point USA. And your word tells us to pray for the peace of Israel, for they will prosper that love thee.
Maybe my expectations are too high, I'm not sure, but I would have just loved a quick little prayer over our country where AMFest is being held, you know, in Phoenix, Arizona, in the United States of America. I would have just loved and appreciated a little bit of prayer over our country. I think we need it. Second of all, I have beef with, maybe beef is the wrong word. I think I immediately tune out when a pastor goes about his prayer like that, like his tone, his temperament, because for me, it's like you're overcompensating. You're screaming and yelling and, you know, using your voice to convey passion. And in my opinion, you're just hoping we're gonna rely on that instead of what you're actually saying. You know, it's kind of like this. It's like me going around saying, okay, maybe this is a terrible example. Maybe I'm being absolutely ridiculous here, but it's kind of like saying, oh my goodness, I just love Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts, y'all. I love Brussels sprouts. What are you getting from that? You're probably gathering that I really love to eat Brussels sprouts, but that's not true. I don't love to eat Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are actually one of my least favorite vegetables. I'm not dissing on passion. I think we as a society need more passion. I crave people actually feeling things now. I feel like everyone walks around like they're zombies and they don't feel anything. I don't know if they're medicated or drugged up or it's TikTok. I really don't know anymore. And it's especially prevalent in my generation, Generation Z, where people kind of give you a funny look if you're passionate about something. Oh my gosh, I'd get it all the time. And look, this isn't a diss towards him, or maybe it is. I don't even know. Anyways, he comes back. We're not done with him. Okay, we're not done with Pastor Amachikawu, whatever how you say his name, and pretty much uses his message or his sermon to suggest that some questions just shouldn't be asked. You know what? Let's watch a little bit of it. Okay, don't take my word for it. Let's watch.
Sin entered into the world through a question. And I want you to be mindful today of people who just love to ask questions. They oftentimes say, I'm just asking questions. I have a right to ask questions. I'm just asking questions.
I wonder who he's talking about. I don't know.
But sin came into the world because Satan, the original seducer, asked Adam and Eve a question.
So let me get this straight, okay, just so we're on the same page. At a TPUSA event that was created and began because of Charlie Kirk, we're on the same page still, Charlie Kirk, a man who constantly told us, Gen Z specifically, so this feels very personal, okay, he told me to question everything, to keep asking questions. But no, now we're being told by this pastor who's using scripture, this pastor, to stop asking questions because the enemy was asking questions, and sometimes we just don't need to know the answer to things. But he goes on and says, you know, make sure you're out there having sex because once you get to heaven, you won't be able to.
Go get a wife and go make some babies. Because when we get to heaven, you can't have sex in heaven. So you might as well get it on down here.
Yes, that's what younger generations need to be focusing on right now, making sure we're having sex. I'm sure he means within the bonds of marriage, so, okay, that is now my number one priority, okay? I need to get out there and find a husband so I can have some sex. Because once I get to heaven, oof, I'm not gonna be able to. I'm sure that's what Paul thought too as he got to heaven. He was like, dang it, I didn't have enough sex. Next up, we have Erika, all right? And there's a lot of discourse surrounding her, I guess her entrance and her outfit. So let's look at a little clip, okay, just in case you didn't see it. Alexa, play Life of a Showgirl. I'm sorry. I listened to her entire speech. Let me just say, and this is not even a joke, it gave nothing. I have found, and this is something I didn't want to admit before, but I'm telling you, everything changed once she gave that Fox interview and she looked at the camera and she said, stop, you know, stop, when she did that. Okay, did I just give you war flashbacks? She's very good at saying a lot of words without actually saying anything. It always feels scripted, surface level, and emotionally flat. There's no conviction, no weight, no presence, literally the opposite of Charlie. And so if you didn't see it, I promise you didn't miss out on anything. And really, I think that ended up being the theme of the night. Nothing. A whole bunch of boring nothing. Anyway, she goes on and she jokes about Egyptian planes. You know what? Let's play the clip. Okay, let's play the clip.
25 countries represented plus Puerto Rico, but I have the list here. Don't worry, guys. Egypt is not on the list.
Not funny. It's not funny. I mean, what? Is this a diss at Candace Owens or a diss at the ongoing investigation surrounding your husband's assassination? I just find that odd. I find that weird. How many times am I gonna say weird? I don't know. And she doesn't stop there, okay? She also jokes about Joy Reid. Well, I guess specifically the JD Vance hug, you know, the infamous hug. Let me show you a picture to give you a little refresher. Now, let's watch the very funny joke.
You also learn some unexpected things, like the fact that Joy Reid probably needs a really, really good hug. And honestly, I'm here for it if she needs it. I got a good hug for you. Good hug for you. I'll even touch the back of your head.
Look, I get what she's trying to do. I mean, I think number one rule in a speech is you throw in some jokes. And hopefully you're funny. Hopefully, otherwise it's a little awkward. Maybe I'm a prude, okay? But I just think front hugging any man that is not your husband is just not the right move. Not the way to go. And I think that that is especially true when, I don't know, you're hugging the Vice President of the United States. I just feel like if I were ever given the opportunity to hug JD Vance, I'd go for a nice little side hug. You know, a side hug moment. Overall though, if you didn't watch her speech, I promise you didn't miss anything, okay? That was pretty much the gist. Moving on though, we have Ben Shapiro. Yes, Ben Shapiro. First question, who invited this man? Because Ben was not on the original AMFest lineup, so your girl has some questions. Not only was he added later on, but he was the first speaker after Erika. That feels like a choice. So far, okay, if you're following, we have an opening prayer asking for protection over Erika, her kids, and Israel. And then we have Erika coming on, giving a speech, making jokes about the Egyptian planes, jokes about the JD Vance hug. And then we have Ben. That's the event so far. I mean, this is where we're at, because remember, I'm your tour guide, okay? So this is where we're at. Let's watch Ben.
If Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erika Kirk, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. Erika Kirk and TPUSA never should have put in...
Calm down, Ben. Let's try that again.
Never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
Anyways, I'm not going to subject you to all of that, but he goes on and shouts out Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, of course, Nick Fuentes, right? Steve Bannon, Andrew Tate, and I think that's it. I don't know, there might be a few others that I'm forgetting, but because yes, I watched the whole speech and I'm not exaggerating when I say it was absolutely painful. I mean, the entire time he is just so condescending. Oh my gosh, like he talks down to the audience, framing conservatives as too stupid to recognize that these voices are fake, and you know, those like Megyn Kelly are so cowardly that they're allowing it. Like the whole time he's just straight up whining. Okay, he sounds like a whiny little baby. It's so wild to me that this was the first AMFest following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Instead of Ben Shapiro going up there and honoring him, he just goes up there and says, you need to stop listening to all these voices, okay? And if you don't, you are the reason there is division within the right, and you are the problem. Which is just rich because TPUSA, or at least Charlie's TPUSA, I don't think it's Charlie's TPUSA anymore, but Charlie's TPUSA I feel like was all about, one, asking questions, but two, encouraging young people to think for themselves. I mean, that's what I got from Charlie in my many, many years of following him. Step out of the indoctrination, step out of the programming. And that's why I so greatly respect Charlie Kirk and miss him, because he is part of the reason that I woke up. I guess Turning Point disagrees with me. Alex Clark. Ooh, Alex Clark. She goes on X. Ben Shapiro just gave the greatest speech in AMFest history. Did you catch that? Ben Shapiro just gave the greatest speech in AMFest history. If you thought Charlie's messages were great, Ben's was better. Ben's was better. What do you mean? Absolutely hilarious. Like, if somebody played that clip and I didn't know who Ben was or where he was speaking at and told me this is 100% satire of what the conservative movement has become, I would believe them. And next we have Tucker. Okay, Tucker actually responded to Ben. That's how he came on and opened. And frankly, I just think it was perfect. Let's play the clip.
I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. I hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what?
Exactly. Denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event is crazy to me. Like, that's why it doesn't even need any commentary. You really just need to post the clip of Ben and say, Ben during AMFest 2025, and I feel like that settles that. But then an X post went viral, and they had a picture of Tucker with the caption, "The Past," and a picture of Ben labeled as "The Future." And all I'll say is LOL. Anyways, Tucker continues and he gives such a killer speech. It was just amazing. Can you tell him a little bit? Can you tell I love Tucker? And then of course comes the backlash, right? And a bunch of prominent voices like Ali Beth Stuckey, Brandon Tatum. The way they went on, you're really under the impression that, wow, like Tucker's whole speech was about defending Islam, the Islam religion. Y'all, I'm not kidding. He briefly mentioned that you can't collectively hate all Muslims. And then he follows up and says, just like you can't collectively hate any group. And really, if you're a Christian, what alternative is there? To hate an entire group, to hate all Muslims because some are a threat? You know, I'm not reducing that, minimizing that at all. I've done a few videos talking about just that. I don't know. I guess I'm not reading the same Bible as these people because I'm honestly confused what the problem was. Like, what's the issue now? Anyway, Steve Bannon also comes on later and he calls out Ben. I think he specifically says he's the farthest thing from MAGA and a hardcore never Trumper. LOL, so based. And then I want to commend JD Vance because he came on day 4 and pretty much just tells Ben to shut up. He's like, I didn't come here with a list of conservative voices to denounce because that's not what MAGA has ever been about. And, you know, JD Vance has a way with his words. He's a really, really talented public speaker. But it doesn't stop there, okay? The show goes on, and we have Alex Clark. I know, I keep bringing up Alex Clark, but she's just so funny to me. I love to laugh, and she makes me laugh. So she goes on X. This woman is always on X. Like, someone seriously take the phone away from her. Everyone who didn't make it to AmericaFest is going to have the biggest FOMO of all time tomorrow. Every news outlet will be talking about how the conservative side are the cool kids now. What is this? My one question is, and this isn't rhetorical, this is an actual question, because I didn't start noticing Alex Clark until after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Was she posting stuff like this while Charlie was alive? I have to know. And I know I could like go on a deep dive, but why would I want to do that? So if you know, let me know in the comments, please. Anyways, you read that X post and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what is it? Ooh, I'm so excited. I want to be a cool kid. She was talking about Nicki Minaj. Yes, day 4, AMFest. They bring in Nicki Minaj. If that doesn't tell you how desperate they are, I don't know what will. Not only did they bring up Nicki Minaj or bring on Nicki Minaj, but they also brought in Jeannie. Did you hear about sweet old Jeannie? Jeannie was the Target worker who was harassed for wearing a Charlie Kirk shirt, and oh my gosh, the way she handled that with so much grace. That's how I want to be, okay? I want to emulate Jeannie. Obviously, I haven't done a good job in this video, but that's the goal here, okay? I want to be more like Jeannie. They bring on poor Jeannie and they bring in Nicki Minaj, who's just trying to advocate for Christians in Nigeria. Okay, Nicki Minaj has no idea. Probably didn't even know what Turning Point was until she got the call. Not that call. Well, I don't know if she got that call, actually. Ooh, hopefully not. What is happening? It's literally a performance. It's literally a show. But hey, according to Alex, we're the cool kids now, so okay. All right, just know you're cool. You're cool now because you're a conservative and Nicki spoke at AMFest, so we're cool. Okay, we're cool. According to Alex, we're cool. Okay. To top all of that off, if you think it can get worse, it does. One of the main, and I'm not kidding when I say this, I really wish I was, one of the main AMFest donors this year was Generation Zion. And I didn't know what this organization was until I looked it up, and they are an organization focused on building a Zionist generation within Gen Z. And then I went onto their Instagram page, their socials page, and there is no mention of Charlie Kirk, not even on September 10th. Nope, no post about Charlie Kirk. And then there's this. Yep, you're seeing that right. Maybe you already saw it. But TPUSA literally recreated the tent where Charlie died as a photo op booth. You want to take a picture in an actual murder scene? Step right up. And don't forget, on your way out, pick up a shirt. You know, the one that looks exactly like the one Charlie was wearing when he died. Am I the only one that thinks that's weird? Really though, all jokes aside, okay, I'm gonna be serious. If this is what AMFest looks like without Charlie, something is seriously broken. Something is seriously wrong. They are showing us who they are, and we need to be paying attention. New hands have taken over the organization, and it is not a diss on Charlie Kirk or his legacy to be honest about what you're feeling regarding what Turning Point is showing you. Okay, that's my serious note. I don't want to end like that. That's just so hardcore. And I want to be light. I want to be chill, okay? Because Christmas is in a few days and it's the best holiday ever. So with that, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, okay? I hope you have a wonderful week with your family or loved ones. And if you are married, don't forget to have sex this week, right? Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, please give me a like, okay? Help a girl out. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all. Merry Christmas.